Which is the best color for your brand? More importantly, how do you choose which color you should have in your brand? Even bigger question, how do you work out secondary and tertiary and other colors that you need for an effective brand identity and logo? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can come up with the right color for your brand and some interesting facts that you need to know that you probably don't know already. The first step in creating a good brand color is selecting the primary color. This is also known as a dominant color or the main brand color. For me, it's this orange. We chose this because it speaks to our creativity and also a sort of youthful nature of our company. Now, there are many ways to actually come up with a primary or dominant color, but one of my favorite ways is to get a mood board. And the mood board will have products, you'll have competitors, and it'll have a vibe, it'll have a mood. And within that mood, you'll find loads of colors inside of there that you can take inspiration from. For instance, if Apple were to put a mood board together, obviously they'll be diverse, but the main mood would be sharp and elegant, which is the black color that they use. If you take HelloFresh and see what they would put in a mood board, or see what products they sell, see what they do, they're going to go for green as their dominant color. These things aren't by accident. These are intentional choices that are made by designers and companies to determine what the color will be. The second way is to look at the competition. You can see what your competitors are doing or what the brand's competitors are doing and maybe refine it or choose an opposite color to stand for something different. By standing for something different, it may be a bit complicated at first to explain, but I'll try it right now. There is psychology in color. It's called color psychology. Different colors have different meanings for all the brands that you see. For instance, Coca-Cola. They've got a very pungent red, not pungent, I can't say pungent, it's not a smell, is it? They've got a very bright red. And that red has been a standard of Coca-Cola ever since its inception. And color psychology, red stands for passion, excitement and anger. So you've got lots of extreme emotions within that color. If you look at Apple and they choose a black color, black in its color psychology means to be techie, well-respected, grounded, sophisticated, powerful, and edgy. HelloFresh, green, it evokes nature, organic, prosperity and growth. If you look at Barclays Bank, they've got light blue, so you've got an innocent feeling, but also trustworthy and openness. And do you know why they chose that color? Because they want you to trust them. They're a bank, which is strange. They want to feel open to you. So the color choices that have been put in there are directly linked to psychology. So for your company, if you are branding a client or yourself, think about the color psychology. Down below in the description, I'm going to put all the color psychologies in there for you so you can best choose. Now let's do a little experiment. What if we were to change the colors of these brands, these famous brands that I've talked about, and see what they feel like? If I was to change HelloFresh to purple, then it's going to be slightly strange. It seems more like a royal brand that looks a bit weird, not very good. Let's change Apple from black to pink. Obviously, this isn't a huge one or a huge difference because Apple does change their colors from time to time with their products, but it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't have that sophisticated look that it used to have. And let's change the Coke logo to a gray. Boring. It looks neutral. It doesn't look passionate anymore. It's lost its edge. Color has a lot to do with your psychology, and the way that you present a brand and the colors is really important. Next is the secondary color. When we have a primary color, it can be a bit daunting to work out what the secondary color could be. I mean, a lot of people would just pick one color and that's it. Well, here's one really easy way to come up with a complementary color on the fly without having to do any work aside from a little bit of math. Double click on the color, and if it's got a hue value of over 180, you can tell because it says either 180 on the H, then minus it by 180. If it is already below 180, add 180 to that number, and what you'll see is a complementary color straight away. Quick maths, that gives you the opposite end of the color wheel, which is the complementary color, and it's super simple to do. You'll still need to play with the tone and the brightness and saturation slightly, but the hue will be bang on what it needs to be a complementary color. Now, the next thing you need to do once you have a complementary color is make sure the contrast is correct. Too many times you see designs that you can't actually read any information from, and graphic design is all about reading information and being able to take it in easily. What we need to do is check the contrast. That is the brightness value and the easily readable value between certain aspects within the design. There's a few ways of doing this. Number one, what you can do is take both of the color combinations and turn it grayscale. What this will do is it will give you a black and white value to how contrasting it is. If the color is less contrasting, you won't see much of a difference in both of the primary and the secondary colors. If it is well contrasted, then you can see that there is a darker version and a lighter version of the gray, which shows good contrast. The second way is to go to a color contrast checker website where you can add the values by hex code into the website and it will determine for you whether the contrast works. It is super important to have good contrast between the colors, not just for your eyesight and your benefit, but for those who need accessible benefit. So for accessibility, those who have color blindness need to be able to read the same information as you do. So checking these colors on the website is an easy way of determining whether your color is generally gonna work or not. Now, step 3, we're gonna be looking at neutral colors. For any brand that you see, they will have a neutral color as their main copy color. That means it's the one that's most functional. It's the one that you read all the information from. From Coca-Cola, it's white or black. And interestingly enough, most companies use white or black as their neutral color because it's not meant to stand out hugely. It's meant to be a functional aspect. It's meant to allow you to read what they're saying rather than to get the brand across. You could call this a tertiary color scheme, but I generally stick towards a neutral side because you're not really going to be adding crazy colors in there. I mean, you can always add them in if, depending on your business, you can break the rules. But generally speaking, we're going to be adding colors that are easy to read. So blacks, whites, dark blues, and not accented colors. Color isn't as subjective as you may think. There are rules. But again, rules are made to be broken. So when I'm telling you all these associations with colors and how to use them, where to get them from, these rules can most definitely be broken, don't get me wrong. Now, the app that you're seeing on the screen showing you all these colors and the logo designs being changed is called Vectornator. It's a free app on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and it's a free fully fledged design app. I've got plenty of videos on my channel showing Vectornator and what it can do, and you can do everything that I've said in this video inside of Vectornator. From designing logos all the way to designing fonts, vectorizing hand lettering, doing illustrations, it's all inside of Vectornator for completely free. So if you want to check it out, click the link down below, it'll take you to the free download. You will not be disappointed. That's how you come up with a color combination for your logo and brand identity. It can kind of seem a bit daunting at first, but as you can tell, there are so many tools online and things that you can learn about colors to get the best out of it. You can see that our brand colors behind me. This is what we've done. We've changed. This is the new set. Thanks to Vectornator for sponsoring this video. If you did enjoy it, press the red subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.